Hey everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? Yeah, we have, we're working on some stuff. I'm trying to see if this all sounds right, but it should be fine. I've done this before. It's only been 10 years. So this is Con Radio. I am Conrad. If you're wondering, oh my God, there's this really smoking hot guy wearing a Goodwill shirt doing a podcast on YouTube. How do I listen to more? Very simple. All you have to do is download it for free on any of the places you get podcasts. It could be iTunes or podcast or whatever, and Spotify. All those places are where you would find me. And so I got the new thing to be able to connect the board to the new Mac, and I'm not using the same microphone, although I did like it for just the video. I'm just trying a few different things because, I'd like to have a guest in this shed at some point. I'd like to do that. So I got to get it all kind of set up and figure it out, and so you guys get to be the crash test dummies on all that stuff. And Shannon come over here earlier today, and we did a little bit of an OK Taco show. I mean, really thrown together, but it sounded okay, and so I was curious how it would sound recording. So I downloaded the driver and stuff to record it on the Mac to throw this audio into there. Because what I've been doing until I got this kind of stuff set up, because we got the other studio all, you don't even want to mess with it. It's kind of like when you get those old... you might have an old house or an old vehicle or something, and you might be like, oh, wait, you need a starter? I could go get it off my car, but you don't want to touch it. You don't want to touch that car. And so the other studio is, at this point, it's got terrific microphones, a fantastic board. It's got all kinds of stuff. Okay, so somebody sent me something I'd kind of neglected. That's my fault. That's okay. But anyways, you don't want to take stuff from that studio to make this studio. This studio has to be its own space. And it's got to be kind of convertible in the sense that, if Shannon and I go out tacoing, I got to grab that board. And so I got to set up everything correctly. And I wanted to make sure that the microphone that I bought that uses for just the video works, and it's worked over the past couple days. It's a little bit more sensitive than I would like, but it's worked great. And then, but I also want to make sure that I can record into my new computer here and be able to manipulate that audio if I have to. I'd rather it just come in as clean as possible because I don't have any elements to add to it. So that's the idea. And for all you junior broadcasters out there, don't get too, these things can do anything, whether it be GarageBand or Reaper or Logic or Adobe, whatever it is that you're using. They can manipulate all this stuff in so many different ways, but the purest thing is just have it be pure. And I actually enjoyed just the microphone capture on just the new Mac was incredible. It was great, but, it's too much sometimes. That's one thing about grabbing one of these old frickin' Dolly Parton microphones, dude, is you grab an old Shure 58 and you're going to be fine. So I now have a way to bring this audio into my computer and then also over here to the phone. And so we're going to go with this for a while and see how it goes. So yeah, Shannon come over today, which was kind of a surprise. I hadn't talked to him. Not really a surprise. I mean, it's my own fault. I just get so damn mired in my own head. It's been so hot, there's not even really a reason to be discussing tacoing, going out and selling tacos. If it's 106 degrees out, we don't expect anyone to pull up next to it. Well, and we've done it, It's too much. And so just catching up with him and seeing what's going on. But one thing I will say is thanks to everybody that reached out from yesterday's show. I appreciate it. I got multiple text messages. I mean, and in my world, that's a lot because I've done a show every day for a very long time, and nobody says anything. And so to get a text message from a few different people about that show and about the things I was saying on it and what was bothering me. It means a lot. It means, one, I didn't know anybody was listening. I throw this stuff out there. I knew one person was for sure going to listen. Didn't know if I'd get a text from him or not. But anyways, it's great to get feedback. So if I'm talking about the Fig Awareness Show, if you guys want to check that out, it's there on YouTube, and it's on all the places I talked about before where you get this kind of stuff. So anyways, thank you for reaching out and continue to do so. I want to... this should be a place where I express my ideas and thoughts on different things, and I want you guys to feel like this is a place where you can give me yours, or if you're going through something similar, or if you feel this, not the same way, but you feel like you can relate to me in some way, like, oh, dude, I get it, dude, don't worry, and I got a lot of that today. I did, like, hey, just nobody sees what you're doing. But we do, I see it. I know what you're going through on at least that particular subject. And, so that's nice, dude. It feels like I'm not just sitting in this garage talking to myself. And by the way, I didn't mention it when Shannon and I did the show. We've been having, so I can't really brag on it yet because, we've been having a little bit of rolling blackouts here in Oklahoma. I think the heat is just too much for the energy grid or something, and so I come out here thinking that it was going to be ice cold, but the power had went out at some point during the day and my air conditioner was off. But I put a bunch of foam. I don't know if I did it right. It's the same kind of thing. Some asshole that's a builder could come in here and be like, oh, that's the foam you use? That foam's supposed to go on the outside, and you're supposed... Listen, dickhead, I only have this amount of money. I can't buy, big old, whatever that Pink Panther foam is, and, the insulation. I don't have the money for it right now, dude. So I bought a bunch of foam that I think you're actually supposed to put on, like, the exterior of a house, like a styrofoam thing with a reflective panel. And I think you're supposed to crown staple it to the exterior of a house and then put your siding on, or whatever you do, your faux brick and whatever that crazy lady, that Chip and Diana Gaines or whatever her name is, tells you to do. Shiplap your house or whatever. But I foamed up the inside with this stuff. It's 3/4 inch of styrofoam with the reflective in between all my studs, and then reattached all of the different soundproofing blankets. I got, not only do I got this terrific one I got from Walmart, like a stretchy nylon, like a yoga pants material, and then I got some blankos over here, some quilts that my great-grandmother-in-law made. So these are, these mean a lot to the family, and they're back behind all of this shenanigans. But then check this out, dude. I'll show the camera if you guys want to watch on YouTube on Con Radio. Look at that. It's a frickin' wolf. So somebody at some point had a wolf blanket. Move my microphone back. Had a wolf blanket, and if you think I'm not going to attach a lone wolf blanket to the ceiling of the studio, you're wrong. And so I did. So anyways, it was kind of a project to remove, because this was already a studio, and I don't know if I did a great job or not. It seems to... Once it gets down, it's about 133 degrees here in Oklahoma today, so it don't take long to get it back down to about 75 with a little wall unit, and then it must be able to keep some coolness inside because it'll click off. But I just walked in, so anyways, that's where we're at. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sharing. I see it. I appreciate all of the feedback. I got a bunch of messages saying, what's up, my figure, or you're just a figget, all that stuff. And that's just because I've been eating a lot of figs, dude. I've been soaking them in water, and I've been doing that fig game. So thank you for that. I thought I had a note saved here, but I don't think so. But I remember what it was called. It's on Amazon. Let me pull that up. It's a website. that runs the world. Am I not connected to the internet? Hold up, please. 'Cause I also have some company coming in. Hello? Ladies and gentlemen, he was just taping a special across the hall. They were down at the library, and he's a perfect person to have come in here as I talk about this. This is called a off-road skateboard. This was a sponsored product that somebody had sent to me.
They're like electric ones.
Yeah, it's not that one. I saved it, but now I can't find it. But this is pretty much like it. So we will click on this one. All right. So Jonah's here, everybody. This one's called so this show is sponsored by Happy Buy Mountain Board, a 37-inch cross-country skateboard. All-terrain longboard with a 95A shock absorber. Mountain skateboard with bindings. 8-layer Canada maple off-road skateboard for cruising downhill. That's its name. I mean, I didn't make it up. They did. But this one just shows pictures of people ripping it out in the countryside. I wanted this. Maybe if we scroll down, we'll see the one that
I like
they
that
were sending me.
crazy one up there. I like that.
Which one?
That one.
This one? Or this one?
That one.
Electric skateboard. Dude, that's dangerous. Okay, we got a vid, though. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so let's check this out. Came in yesterday. Haven't had time to check it out until today. I want to give you guys the first look of what you got here. Right off the box. Fresh.
So old that I died the first time he
There you go.
tried it.
Awesome. I'm so excited, so pumped right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my video was cut off because I ran out of storage space. But here you can see in the video.
All right, this freaking European doesn't understand how to make a video, dude. If you're going to make a video of a skateboard, get on it and rip some stuff, dude. Rip it. Don't just show me you unbox it. Guess what? You could unbox anything. You could unbox that plate. It's the same. It means nothing. Get on there and rip it. Okay, so Jonah's here. Anyways, this episode's sponsored by Off-Road Skateboarding. If you guys are interested in off-road skateboarding, did you step on a screw?
Yeah, I picked it up with my foot.
If you guys want to do some off-road skateboarding, consider buying it through Amazon. They have
Probably
all the
cheaper.
money. It doesn't matter.
It's probably cheaper.
Jonah, what did you do? Where were you guys at?
Where were we at?
Yeah.
The library went to Beechlers.
What did we buy at Bleachers?
We got dinner.
Pork steak?
Yeah, pork steak and zucchini.
Pork steak and zucchini. So that means I have to cook.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. That's what I figured was going to happen. So after this show, I got to go cook a delicious pork steak and some zucchini. What did you get? Any good books?
I got Wings of Fire and Diary of a Wimpy Kid the first.
You've already read that, haven't you?
Yeah,
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
but not the first one very much. I've only read it like 3 times.
What's Wings of Fire?
A dragon novel.
A dragon novel?
Yeah.
Are you getting into that a little bit?
I just read the first one. I just kept reading them.
It's a series?
Yeah, I'm in book 3.
So you're reading them in order?
Yeah, even though you don't really have to because they're just all Wings of Fire, but they're in each individual story.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yeah.
one,
What are you playing? What do you got going on here?
Mommy's wouldn't work.
Epic Games.
It's for the Renegade Connie account.
In order to give your permission for Epic Games account, I need to put an email address.
Mommy's wouldn't load. It wouldn't think. That's for all Epic Games. Fortnite isn't included for some reason. We just use, or did we create an account on the Xbox for Fortnite?
I don't know what you got going on here, man.
This is for Fall Guys and Epic account. That's just what it does. Just
Mm-hmm.
or like refresh it like do.
Well, I think you need to be off the
Cellular data.
no, off the internet, because the internet's not working. I don't know what we got going on here, but I'll should
See
work.
if this guy rips it and he dies.
He's not gonna rip it. He doesn't rip it. He just opens the box, plugs it all in. How do you charge it? How do you read? See, the one that I wanted to sponsor the show was
Do the one where
they were ripping it,
Yeah, like you would.
and I got it like an ad on Facebook or something, and when I seen it, I thought it was funny because there's no way I would ever do what they were telling me to do. Like, you can take this down a mountain and jump these hills. I won't do that. You know, like, why are you doing this why would you think that I would buy this? Sorry, the code you're using is invalid. I don't know,
it's
buddy.
Because, I know why. I need to refresh it and put in a whole new code.
So anyways, I'll be done in about 30 minutes, son. So I'll be in there in a minute. Love you, buddy. I was just getting ready to talk about this Corvette I seen in the park if you want to hear the story. All right, well, you know how over the 4th of July we were in Kansas City, and one of the traditions that I hadn't talked about on the other show is during fireworks, a lot of times people will get up on the roof of my Uncle Tom's house and watch the fireworks if they're still going on. And so late after Jonah got done popping all his fireworks and anything else he could find that you could light on fire, he wandered up to the roof of the house with not only my brother Tug and my sisters, but also a kid named Anthony. And Anthony, I thought, is Egyptian. He's half Egyptian, half Latino, half American. So he's got 3 halves to him, which makes sense. Three-thirds to him. And so Anthony is an interesting guy. He was actually the best part of the trip for me, for one reason only. Not because I enjoy his bouffant hair, and not because he has tiny hands. Those are all incredible things.
I have bigger hands than him.
Yeah, Jonah has bigger hands than him. Those are all great things about Anthony, but what I enjoyed the most was the final night that we were there. Jonah and I had commandeered the sofa. Usually we sleep in the pit because my Uncle Tom's house is laid out like a 1970s bachelor pad where they actually have a sunken-in living room. We call it the pit, where you can watch TV and sit by a fire or whatever, depending on the time of year. Well, because my dad and Anthony and my brother and everybody was there, they got the pit. Jonah and I got the couch, where we had watched Spider-Man
Fell asleep to it.
the night before, not the original Spider-Man, but like No Way. Which one is it?
It was
The Amazing Spider-Man
2.
2. And so we were going to finish that movie and then fall asleep to it, is the plan.
We both fell asleep to
Which
it.
we fell asleep to it anyways. But
It was just I fell asleep to it right when the good part happened, when he was
yeah.
after he,
And we'd already seen it. It wasn't like we were missing anything. It was just, it's a good movie for us, and so we both fell asleep to it.
Also, there's no other free Spider-Mans. Not even games. There's only one
Yeah.
Lego Spider-Man, and you can buy the movie for free.
Yeah, there's no other on Netflix right now. There's no other options
No other-
on any streaming service of Spider-Mans. So we turned that movie back on, and we fully intended, and it was pretty early, like 11, we had fully intended to fall asleep to that movie, which we ultimately did. But
Was it the night they went to Whataburger?
what happened is Anthony, the legit Egyptian, he was laying there in the pit, and he's the maybe future brother-in-law, maybe nothing. That's the funny thing about.
Probably future boy.
It's such a funny thing though that you'll understand. Like, you only love your family, and as much as you want to love the person that they married, you can't, because if Audrey ever said, "Hey, me and Anthony broke up," we would just be like, "Okay." Nobody would care. I mean, my other sister has had boyfriends, and she's had a bunch of them, and they show up, and we're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then the next time they're not there, we say, "Hey, where's that guy? I don't like him anymore." Okay, we don't. So it doesn't matter. Even Katie's been married to Cody forever. If she just showed up one day and said, "Cody's not coming back," we'd be like, "All right." Nobody, and that's what happens. And so sometimes I think we get mired in the details of like, I hope everybody likes me. Here's a news flash. If you're not part of their family, they're never going to like you. They're always going to like the person that was in their family more. So anyways, Anthony's living that right now. And I do really like him, but he also needs to be aware that the day that he gets dumped, if I see him out and about, I'll be like, "Yo, what's up, Anthony, you stinky Egyptian?" But, I don't care. And that's just the way it is. And he doesn't care about me in that way. He cares about his sibling, and that's fine. But he's a funny dude, and he thinks weird.
I don't even know if he has siblings.
And so when Jonah and Anthony were on the roof, this all will play into the Corvette. But when Jonah and Anthony were on the roof with the other ones, Anthony had brought up the fact that we're all pretty much like in a simulation, I think is what he was talking about.
He was talking about, like, I don't think anyone has free will.
Yeah, nobody has free will. That it's all pre-programmed of the decisions that you're making and what you're doing and this path that you're on or whatever. And a lot of times I feel like that, maybe that exists. A lot of times I feel like it's almost like you're in a video game because the people around you, I talked about this on a previous show, you've never seen anybody unloading their car with groceries to take them into their house, even though we go buy groceries almost every day. You would assume that with the people we see in the store, especially in a small town, at some point we'd drive by and see these people unloading groceries. Yet we never do. So maybe it's all a fake.
I know.
And we're living this little Sims life where we're doing it. But either way, Anthony had that thought. But then that night, as he was laying in the pit and we were watching Spider-Man, he said something that, because we were talking about, just...
Talking about food people are all...
We were talking about food. We were talking about going to Whataburger. We were talking about all kinds of stuff. And then, I started talking about how Chinese people will eat, and I've talked about this before on the show, they'll eat within water. So Chinese people will do something called a hot pot, where they'll go to this public place. Everybody gets into these big hot springs that have tables that are sticking out above the water, and then they'll eat ramen noodles or dog meat or whatever they're eating while they're sitting in water. So they're soaking in water, eating stuff that's covered in water. And it's called hot potting. And
I think ramen would be good to do that.
I was just pointing out at 11:15 on a damn 4th of July Eve how weird that is. Could you guys imagine being Chinese? But then Anthony one-upped me and said, "Wouldn't it be crazy if I was Chinese?" And it's hilarious that he said that because I'd never thought that before. Like, it would be crazy if you're Chinese. We would hate you. And I don't know why I said it, but I said we'd hate you so bad. And we would probably. And he said, "But I bet I'd taste delicious." And that's where he's got a little comedy in him. And so that was the funniest part because I was like, yeah, you would taste delicious. I would eat a Chinese person because they sit there and soak in basically broth all day.
I bet it's like imagining sitting in a giant, hot tub of ramen.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly what it was. It wasn't like doing it. It was that. That's what they're doing right now. Because they sit there and they shove the ramens in their faces, and a lot of it drops into the pool, and they just sit there and soak in a ramen pool. And that's fine. That's their culture, and everybody has a different one. But Anthony brought that up, and Anthony's also the guy that brought it up, living in a simulation or whatever he was saying. And I think that happened to me today when I was running. So it's 153 degrees in Oklahoma today, record temperatures, and I took off on my run later in the afternoon after we did the show with Shannon, and after I kind of got the shed where I was kind of happy with it, or the stuff picked up.
You might need to put the stuff that's still out there, like.
There's a few things that are still left out, but for the most part, everything's empty. Yeah. And so, anyways, I don't open the door though. So, as I took off towards the park, there's a route that you can run. It's about a quarter mile to the park, and then if you run the certain route around the park, it's a mile each lap.
Yeah.
And so,
But I don't know if it's an actual mile.
you have to run a certain one. It's not, if you run through the park, it's about a half mile. But if you run around, anyways.
I know, but I mean, when mommy's thing, when she said, okay, around this park, there, it says it's a mile, and her Under Armour app said half mile.
Yeah, it's a half mile. If you run just the park sidewalk, it's a half mile. But if you run then around another block and then back, it's a mile. Anyways, I was going to go do 1 or 2 laps around that and then head back and get a few miles in. And when I got to the park and I was coming in on the back side of it, basically, not from Main Street, there was not a brand new Corvette because it was still a front engine. So like maybe
Was it that red Corvette?
So it's a black Corvette with red stripes.
Black?
Yeah.
There's a red one. Wait, Dax's grandma is moving in one of those houses.
Mhm.
She has a black Corvette.
It could have been her, but she might be dead. What I'm saying is, it was sitting next to the park running with the hood open when I got there. And so I took off and I did my lap, and then I came back around. It's still running, just idling with the hood open. And I thought, that's strange.
What year do you think it was?
Probably a 2018 Corvette. And nice wheel. I mean, it was decked out. Did my next lap. When I come back around this final time, a man who's been afflicted with a disease called Down syndrome. Down syndrome. And Down syndrome. And I don't know if full Down syndrome, but a little bit of Down syndrome.
Down?
Well, what I mean is he just got a little bit of it, just a Down syndrome. And he was walking a poodle of some sort of tiny little dog. And I don't know if he was walking it or the dog was walking him. But we made as much eye contact as you can make with a person with Down syndrome. And he moved away but he was watching this Corvette. And I was now watching it. The whole time I was thinking, this is like a whole setup for a Matt Damon or a super action movie where this Corvette explodes. Or somebody's dead inside of it. And the only reason I say that is because on the front window now was one of those sunshades that block the light. So somebody had the presence of mind to keep the interior cool from the sun, popped the hood, it's still running, and they're just are they sitting in it with the air conditioning, but they don't want it to overheat, so they pop the hood? What's going on? But then they put the sunshade on. Or gas is $5 a gallon. That idling is costing them. Yes, they're going to run through the $100 of fuel to sit here and idle, or this is some sort of test. And maybe I should have popped open that door to check on somebody. Maybe there's nobody in there. Maybe there's a note that says, Conrad, this is your car now.
That would have been so cool if we got
But there's a mission. But maybe you don't know. Like, maybe it's all, the gas cap was gone too. Like, how the flapper part?
Yeah.
It was gone.
Guess what? I saw a jump start. I saw a Ram truck with, looks like, what was it? A huge dent in the doors.
Yeah.
And their gas cap was open as they were driving away.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just saw gas drip.
That's happening, dude. And people
He had a full tank, so I just saw it out.
pouring out.
Yeah.
That's happening. People are not aware of what's going on. And I don't know what a Corvette in the park means. To me, it's a song, Corvette in the park. But it's also like a secret mission. Like the government would have a mission called Corvette in the park. It's like an FBI mission.
Mommy had a thing like that happen. Like, is a dead person in there? Like,
Yeah.
actually had a dead person in there. There was this van that was sitting in she's walking out of the clinic when she worked there. She was walking out and she saw this van just idling, like it was just revving, like
Yeah.
And there's this guy in there, just sitting there, and Mommy opened the door.
Oh, I remember when that happened. Yeah.
He was dead.
Yeah.
Like, I think what happened was when he had just gotten done from surgery.
Yeah.
He's coming back to his car, got in.
Why do you know this story?
She told me.
She shouldn't tell you this story. It's a horrible story.
No, but he came out. He's over there. He's revving it, and the thing that popped out,
Yeah.
while he was revving it, it wasn't even in drive.
No. It was in neutral or park, and he was revving.
It was in neutral.
Yeah.
He was like so close there. Pop.
Yeah.
It was there.
No, it's horrific if you see something like that, and I wish that
No,
never
there was
happened.
like 5 other doctors. 'Cause it was
Well,
like
right, but it's still a
5
bad deal.
o'clock.
It's still a bad
It
deal.
was like 5 o'clock, and they were all getting off work.
Yeah.
Like, it was an actual, like, surgeon.
Yeah.
I think it was her, Jance, and that one guy.
Well, she wasn't alone, but it was still a bad deal. So.
And they still took him back, even though they all knew.
Mhm. I don't know. The Corvette had tinted windows and then the sunshade on the front. I couldn't see inside of it, but I kind of think it was like a Knight Rider situation where that car was supposed to be for me. It was sitting there for me to take over, and I don't know what that means for you as my kid, as a family. Like, would I have to leave you guys and go save the world in a Corvette? I don't know.
Sounds fun. We should get a Corvette.
Well, it sounds fun, except for, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to get my run done and come home. I didn't want to jump in a Corvette and start a new life, although maybe that was why it was there. So sometimes when you see a Corvette in the park, you got to get in it, is what I'm saying.
Or talk to the person who...
Or knock on the window to say, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? Are you playing Words with Friends? Or are you dead? Just checking. Wellness check. Are you a person that would die in a van someday? Just checking. And so you got to do that stuff. And I didn't do any of that. So
Maybe it was like the paranormal.
it could be a paranormal. It could be a ghost car. I've never seen a Corvette with red racing stripes. The whole thing was weird. It was a black Corvette with red racing stripes.
That's not even in like a racing game.
No.
I've played in every.
You've played all the games. You've never seen that combination.
Even in Forza 5.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. It was weird.
The newest
It's
car
like
game ever.
Jizo or God or whoever put this thing in front of me for me to see and notice that it was out of the ordinary. Because it is out of the ordinary. So, anyways, it happened. And I left it there and I took off and I come back home and, did what I had to do. But there's still times I think you got to be aware of those things. You have to be aware. Who's calling you, buddy?
No one. Kaden called me.
Well, you can go play games. I'll be in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
But even in Forza 5, the newest car game ever.
yeah.
Like in this year, 2022, newest car game, Forza 5, not in it.
And I would set you up here with the microphone. I got to do that next time. Then you can just sit in here and do the show with me. With the other microphone, so we can get your...
But that's a weird combination. When you're saying really nice wheels, I was looking at your Chevy picture and those wheels. And I also saw...
They were those wheels. They were exactly those wheels.
I was like, could they be?
Mm-hmm. They were those wheels. So it was strange. So, anyways, I hope they're okay. I hope they didn't die. I hope they were just taking a nap or working on it or something.
Take $100 nap. And you know how people say, like, did you take, like, a good nap, but, like, do it in money?
Yeah.
They're taking a good nap in there.
Oh, yeah, they were taking a good nap.
Especially gas prices.
Well, here's a horrible story that I don't agree with at all, but I'll read it to you to finish out the show. There's this man, says a mentally ill man. He believed that killing his landlord and eating his heart would end evil in the world. All right? An Italian national who was diagnosed with schizophrenia believed killing his landlord and eating his victim's heart would put an end to the evil in the world, an inquest has heard. The inquest into the death of Tom Gorman, who died at his family's home in Dublin 8 years ago, heard evidence that his killer, Xavier Belente, was suffering delusions at the time, believing he was God and on a special mission against the forces of evil in the world. Mr. Gorman, 39, a journalist and a researcher with the Iona Institute, was killed by Belante at his home in Beach Park Avenue, Castleknock, in the early hours of January 12, 2014.
So that was a while ago.
It was a while ago. You were born, though. After a road...
Rowan was probably being born.
Yeah. After a road developed between the pair over a game of chess, Belante, who was only identified as Mr. B during the inquest, was found not guilty of Mr. Gorman's murder by reason of insanity by the jury of the Central Crime Court in Dublin in 2015.
Hey, Daddy.
Yeah.
Did you talk about your radio headphones that we got?
Not yet. No.
No, not in a show, though. Like in a show.
No, I could put them on for the rest of the show, though, just to be cool. Some headphones.
Radio headphones.
So there we go. That's perfect. So he was getting treatment for schizophrenia. Anyways, here's just a tip, guys.
Don't.
If you're renting out a place to a person who kind of acts a little bit weird and acts a little bit paranoid and all this stuff, and like you would show up to his, because it's your house, and you just show up to check on him. Hey, how's it going? Just getting the rent. And he's like, ooh, there's a lot of evil in this world. I'd like to eat it out of it. If you ever hear that, get him out of there. Because the next step is they're going to eat your heart. Okay? They're going to be like, hey, you want to come over and play chess? No, I don't. Why? Because you're going to eat me. Weirdos have always had the same decline. It starts like this. I don't trust people around me. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't trust this. Anthony's got it. We're in a simulation. Don't trust this. Okay. All of a sudden, they'll be like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to eat a person's leg. Which is a funny thought. But if you then go into it, like, one time I tried a cat's leg. If you hear that, get out of there. Call the cops. Call the authorities. This person's a psycho. Because the next step is... they're going to cut you up, dude. They're going to take you to the park and hit you with a wrench and eat you. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, like in the park? You think I'm psycho, don't you?
That's exactly right.
Like, oh no, did you kill her? No.
And that's what happened to this guy. This guy said he died of blunt force trauma to the head and then stab wounds to the neck and chest with a wrench. So it's basically that song. And you don't want to, if you're going to pull out, the right lung had been removed, and if you're going to pull out the liver, those are awful. I've had cow liver, and I've had a little bit of lung before on a cow. They taste like chalk. If you're going to eat part of a body, just eat like the thigh meat or something. Have it just like a chicken. Like, what's the best part? The thigh? Yeah, that would be mine. You eat this thigh right here, buddy. That is tasty. I mean, it's really good. It is. Now, you'd have to season it right. You couldn't just...
Put it on the grill.
No, don't just throw it on the grill and expect it to be perfect. It tastes all right. But you throw a little salt and pepper and butter on that, get it nice and good. A little bit of blood still. Just a little pink in the middle. It'd be perfect, dude. What are we having? Dad's thigh. He wanted it. He wanted us to eat it, you know. So, anyways, this guy was just a psycho, like the song says, and apparently he had some story about getting in a fight and stabbing him over chess. Chess players don't stab, dude. Chess players, even the worst chess players, the ones that you'd find in some sort of park, the ones that are high on drugs and stuff, even they will respect the game of chess. You know, if you're playing a game of chess, dude, you're not going to have to worry about getting stabbed. You might get a dirty look. You might get a spell cast on you, but you don't have to worry about getting eaten, dude. So this guy, he ate the dude, and I guess now we're figuring out that even though he was not guilty, he should be guilty.
Hey, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Was there actually an OU mark on the truck?
Yeah, I had a little emblem on there at one time.
Because I never noticed that in the picture.
Yep.
I've seen that picture for the past, 3 years.
Yeah, there's all kinds of secret things. It's kind of like this one. In the background, there's people burning the K-State fan. Yeah, there's just little...
I've seen that one.
Yeah, there's little Easter eggs, they call them.
I drew that shark up there. The shark one.
That's one of my favorite pictures. I keep drawing. I want to hang up all your stuff.
It's a surprise one where if you fold it up, it just shows a shark.
Mm-hmm. But when you open it,
all
the mouth opens. Yeah, that's my favorite part.
And the fish are. I should have drew fish in there.
Yeah, I like it the way it is. They're coming. He's gonna eat those guys. It's like a 3D picture.
I give him walrus teeth.
Yeah.
Walrus length teeth.
Oh, they're big teeth. They're good stuff there.
They can't see it. They're just on the video. They can't see it.
The only other thing I was gonna, and I haven't got to on any of the shows since we've been back from Kansas City, is there's this Olympic swimmer, and I've talked about him back when he was popular. His name is Ryan Lochte. And without overselling it, this man was one of the dumbest people I'd ever seen. And I've seen a lot of dumb people. I've lived with dumb people. I've been around dumb people. But this gentleman was interviewed because he was a really great swimmer. He's a great athlete. And he got in trouble in the Olympic Games in Rio because I think they shoplifted some stuff from some sort of convenience store, like stole a bunch of granola bars or something. And the authorities, if you go down to South America and steal a granola bar, they'll hit you with a damn wood soap and put you into prison for 3 or 4 years. And these guys are like bro dogs coming from Orange County, California. Like, oh, come on, man, just don't worry about it, bro. It's going to be fine. That's not how it works down there. You go into South America, those dudes don't play that game. They have thin mustaches.
Like remember when Rowan,
They're serious.
Remember when Rowan wanted that chocolate thing so badly? When no one was looking, she slipped it in her pocket.
Yeah, that's not... Yeah, don't steal. And these guys stole, and they got in trouble, got taken to jail, but I think somehow, because they were Olympic athletes and American athletes, they were let out of jail and got, paid their fines or whatever, and didn't have to stay there and got to compete. But this guy's a freaking idiot, and, there's a lot of times when I see this, and I've told Jonah this, where these people, they do get a tremendous amount of money to play sports, you know what I mean? And whether it be basketball or football or even swimming with sponsorships and
I heard basketball and football give out the most money.
Yeah, they usually basketball and football have the biggest paydays on these athletes, but you're also talking about, unfortunately, financially illiterate people now all of a sudden getting a tremendous amount of money and not knowing how to manage it whatsoever. And so they spend it all, and they end up being broke within a couple years. And there's a great 30 for 30 on ESPN about just the amount of money certain players that you would think these guys would be rich forever, they're broke right now. They got broke 2 years after.
You can watch the YouTube video on how basketball players spend their money.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy who got a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Made it like a rectangle, like a perfect rectangle, and put imagine you see that shape of the rim.
Yeah.
Put the wheels under it, but imagine it being out and it just hanging on by a full, just this much of weld.
Oh yeah.
To hold the whole thing up. It was a yellow Bugatti.
Yeah, and a yellow Bugatti might cost $375,000 just for before you did it. Before you did all the So you might spend $500,000 on a vehicle and then wonder why you're broke, 2 years after playing in the league. And so when I watched this Ryan Lochte guy, the whole time I was like, and I don't wish this upon anybody. It's like, I wish this dude could get some education. I wish this dude could learn how to talk or read. I wish this guy, hopefully his success will bring him a teacher that will teach him how to read books. And unfortunately it did not. And so I read a story that he is selling his Olympic medals because he's broke. Because you can't be a swimmer forever, dude. You can't be an Olympic swimmer. You can be an Olympic swimmer. Michael Phelps did it for 20 years, probably. And he won all these different Olympic medals. He's still an idiot. He's still one of the dumbest guys ever, but he lasted 20 years. Ryan Lochte had one run where he was at the peak of his physical prime. He had a coach that believed in him. He was dumb enough to do the workouts that they told him to do, and he excelled at it. But you can't then take that notoriety and make a career out of it with your dumbass behavior on everything else. And so he left the pool and started just being a normal guy, still a good-looking guy, still had a great body. Everybody knew his name. Yet, we can't buy your idea, Ryan. You can't come to us and be like, I have a new idea for like a dessert. It's kind of like a dessert breakfast. It's kind of like you mix this flour and this special stuff, and you put it on a pan, and you put butter and syrup on it. And somebody's like, that's called a pancake, Ryan. That exists. You can't just make a new pancake called a Ryan cake. He's like, I believe in it, dude. I'm putting $1 million behind it. Ryan, you're out of money. What? I should have all kinds of money because I'm Ryan Lochte. You don't, because nobody buys your ideas because they already exist. You can't invent an egg, Ryan. They come from chickens. Okay? You can't say, I'd like to create this new breakfast item where it should come in almost like a football, like a white football, and you open it and you can eat what's inside. That's an egg, Ryan. That exists. But what if there's a cow in it? If I'll cut it open and you can't do that. It doesn't exist, Ryan. Well, I'll put $1 million on it. Ryan, you're out of money. Sell your Olympic medals, dude. And he did. I bought one. So I bought one for $3. And you better bow to me when I get up in the morning. That's what I got to say, because I'm an Olympic swimmer now. I'm an Olympic floater, dude. No, if you put a life jacket on me, I can float better than Ryan Lochte can float.
If you get me I can just sit. I can sit in Tom's lake all day.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm Olympic at it.
Just float.
Oh, who is that waterhead out there? That's Conrad, dude.
Wait, we should get some when we go to. Is it almost August?
It's almost August.
And when we go to that vacation home at the lake,
yeah,
we should bring some bungee cords and tie them to our life jackets, and when they drive the boat,
we're just floating around.
No,
Two floaters.
the boat,
I'm like a turd you can't flush, dude.
No, but the other side of the bungee cord would be on the boat.
Oh yeah, and it'd drag us around.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, and I'll leave you guys with this. I went to and luckily no one was home. My mom wasn't home. Nobody was there. Uncle Gump was supposed to be watching the house, and he wasn't there. So I went in to use the facilities. I had to use the restroom. And my mother's house has been remodeled on one side of it, but the other side has not been remodeled.
Is it the one with like all the rooms?
Yeah, but you go into the bathroom that's always stayed the same since she bought the house. What you're going to notice is toilets, when they used to make toilets, they were short. Like you'd sit on a toilet and your knees are up to your chest, okay? And for whatever reason, the toilet industry has started making higher toilets. And I think it's because the toilet industry realized a toilet lasts pretty much forever. I mean, other than you might have to put a new flapper in it, but the actual toilet part lasts forever.
I don't want to talk. If we talk about our toilet stories, I have a bunch.
Oh, I know, but
remember when I tried to flush the basement?
Well, they make a new product.
No, like when I was trying to flush it with the handle.
Yeah.
The flapper.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a basement issue, but when they used to make toilets, they made them so low because when your knees are higher, when your feet are higher off the ground, supposedly that gives you a better bowel movement. So when your feet are up like this, all the poop comes out. No, so they made it. They make a thing called a squatty potty.
It's easier.
You can't poop with your feet hanging, son.
It's easier to push like this, like on the ground. Like
yeah.
It's easier to push like when you're like this, but when you sit up, it's easier to come out. So.
Well, I think they give you something now. They sell a product, and I think the toilet industry is part of it. They make taller toilets to then sell this stool that you put your feet on to make you be able to push better or something. And if they just kept their old toilets like they used to make, the shorties, your feet are already there, and you make the perfect turd every time. But the problem also the toilets have is, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's like it's like a cosmic joke. It's like a joke that Anthony's artificial intelligence is making on us, where you'll flush a toilet and you'll see the damage spinning around in there, and you say, I hope this all disappears, and nobody remembers that this happened, including myself, and it starts to go down. For whatever reason, why is it that every toilet leaves one chunk? I don't understand. Like, if it's gonna be a malfunctioning toilet, why isn't it always like every once in a while there's just a full turd that's floating around? Instead, everything goes down, then all of a sudden you look over and one chunk popped back out. It's like, flush me again, dude. It's like, really? One chunk every time in any toilet?
I have one that I had to second flush it because it went down. It was a huge one. It just went all the way down.
Yeah.
And there's someone here.
Popped right back up, just like a periscope. Like, dude, you don't have a brain. Go down the tube into the facility. But it's like they have a brain, or like they just cut off one part of them, like on the way down. See you later, Tom. Go check it out. Like, dude. And then it's embarrassing because inevitably you'll get in a hurry sometimes, and you'll flush, you'll wash your hands, which is a lie, and then you will like exit the facilities, and somebody will follow you in, and they'll walk over the toilet, and there'll be one chunk. Like, did you? And they'll come out, and for whatever reason, it's like they have to. Did you go number 2 in there? And be like, no. Well, just wondering. It didn't seem to get flushed all the way. And you're like, yes, I did number 2. But then it's almost like, I wish I'd left it all. Because I don't just poop little chunks. I wish you'd seen what did go down. I did a lot of work in there. I didn't just put one tiny... Anybody can do that. That's a booger. That's a big booger. I didn't just do that.
You tried to sneeze with your mouth closed and without, like...
Sneeze with my mouth closed? What do you think I am? Some sort of magician?
It's hard now.
I don't want to see my ancestors, dude. That's disgusting.
No, but that'll make Grandpa throw up.
Oh, yeah, that'll make him throw up.
No, it comes out both. No, it's like a double snot rocket.
Well, I have not done that yet. It is disgusting. I probably have done it when I tried not to sneeze. I've probably been like, and then just stuff blew out everywhere. My eyeballs and my ears.
Next time I sneeze, I'm going to try to plug my nose and keep my mouth closed. Then it'll just like...
You don't do that, dude. You'll crap your pants. It will come out somewhere. The pressure builds, so you got to be careful.
What's in my eye?
That's last night's dump, dude. Wipe it. Wipe your eyes. Let's go to church. So anyways, thank you guys for listening to the show. If you want to share it, I appreciate it. Next time I'll get Jonah a mic so when he does jump in here, you can hear him a little bit better.
Better in here than outside or inside.
Yeah, we're getting the air conditioning working. We're getting the shed insulated. Everything's coming together. So we'll keep doing the shows. Keep listening. Keep sharing. Keep supporting. Keep reaching out. Keep commenting. Everything is on Con Radio, whether it be on social media or anywhere else. So just subscribe there. Everything's free. It's on Patreon. Subscribe there. And YouTube. Subscribe there. And thank you guys for listening. And with that being said, don't let your meat loaf and have an okay day.